Good morning, Masters. Carrie Lamastis with Take Back Your Life. So I just had my meditation class, a channeling session. We talked about the issue around being late is one of my triggers, right? I am the type that has overcompensated. I'm always on time. And it's because my mom was always late. This is coming up for me because the relationship that I'm in, he's always late and it drives me crazy. So if you're experiencing this message is for you. So in meditation, what came up was, of course, neither side is correct. Just because you are on time doesn't mean you're correct. Doesn't mean that correct isn't the right word. Doesn't mean that you're not experiencing also trauma. It goes back to this, previous meditation we had talked about a seesaw. And the seesaw represents the flip side of trauma. We can point to, in this instance, we can point to one side of the seesaw being more typically what we would call trauma response than the other side. In this case, it would be, he's always late. We agreed on the time and he didn't show up at that time. That's wrong, or that's incorrect, or there's something wrong with that behavior. What I've realized is my side of the seesaw, which is I'm always on time. I, show up even early sometime, but I'm always do what I say I'm going to do. That's also trauma-based because it came from a reaction, an overcorrection. And what I realized is it doesn't have anything to do with time or when you get to, it's not about that really. It's about the frequency at which you're behaving. I completely spin out of control when he's late. So that is not a balanced frequency. On the other hand, I have to assume that he's rushing to get to the place and things happen in his way. Maybe he hits all the red lights. Maybe there's traffic. Maybe there's this, there's that. You get to where you're going and you say, oh, sorry, I'm late. There was traffic, or there was this happened, or there was an accident, or blah, blah, all the things. And so I guess what the message is where's the balance? So if you kind of separate the idea of being there on time and just feel the energy of where you are along that spectrum, the center point, the fulcrum of that seesaw is we're always where we're supposed to be. Trusting in the universe, being in the flow and allowing what actually is. And I can hear all of the ego monkeys talking about, well, how do you get anything done if you're always late? Let's check in with the guide. You never know the reason why the schedule was pushed or the event didn't happen when you originally stated. Dan's example of this during the channeling session was him blowing the tire on the way to the lake. and they didn't make it to the lake, but that day that there was a heavy monsoon that caused a lot of damage. That was the perfect example of universe correcting his path. He didn't need to experience that. So it looked in the physical world like something negative had happened. They weren't able to go to the lake. But from a higher perspective, it actually worked out. So from this higher perspective, when you shift the perspective to the vertical plane, you view it as everything is working out. You come from the perspective of everything is working out because I trust the universe. Doesn't matter if he's late because I trust the universe. We're supposed to be where we are. And I have that bunch of yelling in my mind about, he said he'd be here at 6 and now it's 7 o'clock and he's not here. And now we can't get anything done and yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. That is the part of the misconception of the horizontal plane. That is the doing part of the horizontal plane. The doing, you will get done what you need to get done. When you come from, you will get done more because you won't come with the energy of, you were late, you fucked up, you ruined it, and all of the story. So you will have a different experience, the experience that you should have had, that the experience that the vertical plane is aligning you with. When you are both able to come to this situation without pressure, with open hearts. It's okay if you're late. Just get here when you get here. He will be more easeful and he will actually show up closer to the time arranged in the first place, because he will hit fewer red lights along the way. I feel this in my stomach. Like, you will be more easeful, open, and loving You will come to the experience. You will open the door with open arms rather than a fighting fist. This is what it means to be in the flow. I just let that, there's like a whole release going on in my stomach. You guys will have a different experience together. You will have a different relationship. His stomach will clear as well. It's here. And it just went, feels like a deflating. He holds that as well. There will be more. There's in any relationship, especially a romantic relationship, is designed to bring up the triggers. And you've asked for this. This is the path. I'm thinking about my previous pattern of like throwing the grenades into the relationship where this yeah, hi piss. Where and I've even broken up with him multiple times for this issue. But using that technique, right? You don't allow yourself to really experience and go through that trauma. You get to the other side of it and it's not scary. That's what happens with trauma. We hide under the rock. We hide from the experience. We hide from the experience, meaning, in that situation, I would break up with guys because of it. I broke up with him because of it many times. So because I was right. He was wrong. He was the one not showing up. So I would break up with him and thinking, he doesn't value me, yada, yada, yada. But when you look at it from the higher perspective, it's all about trusting the universe. You see it from a different perspective. You let it go. And that energy that has built up, there's still a little in there. Say this will take practice. This will take practice. It's a big. can hear my ego say, if you don't have, if you can't count on somebody to show up on time, how does anything get done? It's the same loop. And this perspective again is higher, from on the higher perspective. Without that frequency, you get a different outcome. You have a different experience. You come to the meeting with love and allowance. And if you're both doing it from both sides of the seesaw, imagine what that experience will be. And if he's not there, then it doesn't matter, because it will be better even with one person coming to they experience the meeting with the frequency of trusting the universe. It all works out. Right, Piss? So just another perspective of how to handle if you're like me and you get up until now, people being late to meetings would drive you crazy up until now. This one takes it'll take a little while. I think there's still some energy, but it was definitely release. So if you found this interesting, like and subscribe.